Okay, good evening, everyone. So, I saw a setup that I analyzed just now at the close of New York session. Obviously, I don't trade sessions anymore. You get, So I'm just gonna explain how I got this BTC USD setup, and I feel it's an A plus setup because I barely see this kind of setup before on BTC USD. So I'll just go to BTC USD and I'll click on trade. Alright, so this is BTC USD and this is my analysis of BTC USD on 50-minute time frame. Now, before I explain anything, I'll just first go to higher time frames. Right, so I'll use top down analysis to explain how I took this BTC USD. So these are the trades I've taken, and this is my directional bias on BTC USD. Now, to those of us that understand directional bias very well, you will always know the next move of the market, right? Understanding directional bias so much. So now let's see what is here. So on our daily time frame, we are looking for the direction of the market. The market creates a break of structure to the upside, and this break of structure is formed by this POI that is here, right? This POI that is here. Despite we had a spike due to news on Friday, but the POI is still active, so we're still pushing up to the upside because of this break of structure, right? The way I explained last time. Now, this might be an invalid POI because of no inducement, but this is the most valid POI because if you come to smaller time frame, this other block can be an inducement, right? So now let's go down to, we're looking for point of interest. Now this is our first point of interest. This one is our first point of interest on daily time frame on BTC USD. The reason is because we've seen a shift in structure around this zone, and now market has created an imbalance. And I told us before that for you to get an imbalance, you need to be filled up, right? To show that price might still continue to the upside because of this POI that is here. So after that, when I spotted my POI, I need to go and rearrange it on smaller time frame. So I came down to 4 hours. Now in my 4-hour time frame, I saw something different. Remember, during my directional bias analysis, I saw this weekly resistance and this daily support level, right? Now, when I saw that analysis, firstly, I went to go and look for my break of structure to the upside. Remember that we are now bearish. Now, this is a break of structure to the downside here, becomes a new break of structure to the downside. Am I right? If this place becomes a new break of structure, what does this place tell us? Tell us that we are now in an MSS, right? A market structure shift. The market have shifted structure from a downtrend to an uptrend. And now, if the market from market structure, there's something that push it. What is that? A POI. This is a POI that pushed, that formed this market structure shift around here. This is the POI, but it's not still certain, right? That's why we need to come down to 2-hour time frame. So you see, with our top-down analysis, we are seeing where we are going to, right? Now, that POI, this is the POI. This is the POI that formed this market structure shift around here. Now, inside this market structure shift, for those of us that attend the tuition class, I told us about double break of structure, whereby you're going to see a break of structure inside having a new POI around the zone. So now you need to be careful when you're looking for entry on 15-minute time frame. That is why you see my POI is supposed to be wider a little bit, but I brought it down. There's a reason, because of this new break of structure that is here. Market have shift structure to the upside, but inside there's still a break of structure to the upside, right? So let's continue. So we've seen our POI that caused this market structure shift that is here, right? This is a POI, but it's not still certain that we might use it as a point of interest. But what do? Come down to 1-hour time frame. Now in our 1-hour time frame, we saw a new break of structure that is here. This is a new break of structure to the upside after the market structure shift has formed. The market first pullback is the market structure shift, and it came down to form a new break of structure around here. Now when you form a new break of structure, there is something that makes up that new break of structure. That is this FVG that is here. This FVG is what formed this break of structure. So we've seen the point of interest as the FVG, right? So now what do we do next? After we've seen our FVG, we might see market out because at some point it might still be useful, right? See how price triggered and still continue to the upside, but we don't really need it right now. So now let's continue. So we've seen our market structure shift and the POI that caused it is still valid, right? Now let's go down to 30 minutes. Now on our 30-minute time frame, when this break of structure happened, I told us that there's always a POI that always forms a break of structure. And how many POI can you see here? We can see one, we can see two POI plus the one we had on our 1 hour time frame, which is here. That is 3 POI, right? Now the most valid is the one we are going to use. Now this one might be valid because it has a very complete point of interest, but we can't use it because it doesn't have a first pullback one and it doesn't have a fair value gap supporting it. Now number two, this is the second POI that is here. This second POI has a pullback, but at the same time it has created new break of structure, smaller break of structure that are here and smaller break of structure that are here. That is why I might not use this, but this one is still stating that is still usable until I come down to my entry point. Then I'm going to come down to 15 minutes. Now in my 15-minute time frame, that is when I saw my clear point of interest. My clear point of interest was here after this new break of structure around here, this small break of structure that is here. I saw a POI. After that POI, I saw a fair value gap zone, and an FVG that has an other block that has a fair value gap is the most valid POI. Right now, after that POI, what happened? I still see a first pullback after a break of structure. This is the first break of structure, this is the second break of structure, right? Then after this break of structure, there was a pullback. This is a pullback. Now this pullback protects this liquidity. That is why we are what? This price might still come down to this level and continue to the upside. So that break of structure is protecting this liquidity, right? So now what happens to the market? The market is changing structure from an uptrend to a downtrend. The market has created a break of structure to the upside, a break of structure to the upside, right? Now this place is supposed to be a new break of structure, but it created a new market structure shift to the downside. Now we're expecting price to come and do something like this. If price could come down a little bit, then we'll know that we're clearly bearish. If price to come down to this level, then this will be a new break of structure to the downside. And if this place becomes a new break of structure to the downside, what happened to price? That means there's something that mitigated this zone that created a new break of structure, which is here, right? This place becomes the PO high of this break of structure, right? So our price is going to come down and immediately break to form a new PO high here. We know that we're expecting price to come and sweep this liquidity and tap into our points of interest. Then what happened? We'll go to the upside, something like this. So we're expecting price to form a new break of structure around here. After I form a new break of structure, we're going to expect maybe probably a spike, an imbalance, or a pullback a little bit, then sweep this liquidity, then maybe retest this liquidity a little bit, then tap into our POI, and boom, this is what we are expecting price to do. Now there's a reason why I didn't put it on this directional bias resistant level. I put it above it. It was because price might form a new break of structure after it has hit TP around this zone. So this is how I was able to get this setup that I just call A plus zeta. But if price go against us, then that is market for you. So this is what we're expecting BTCUSD to do probably on Tuesday after New Year session, or maybe in the middle of the night. So that's it. And if it goes as planned, I'm gonna take this trade. So thank you very much. So that's it.